These are stories about my reluctant and courageous journey into understanding my emotions and what I learned. I'm super grateful for the questions you ask because they're guiding this fantastic adventure. This week's topic comes from Christy, who wanted to know how to be confident and not insecure, which means, you guessed it, this week's topic is literally titled How to Be Confident and Not Insecure. In this video, I'm going to focus on a time when I felt insecure and how I got through it. In the next video, I'm going to focus on a time I felt insecure and started looking for confidence. Then I'll talk about a time when I found confidence. In the next video, we'll meditate, and then you get to watch the Frittity or the Friday Ditty, where I wrap it all up and get a little poetic and a little nerdy. All the videos will appear in the playlist How to Be Confident and Not Insecure. So if you have a question like Christy did, comment below or DM me on Instagram. I'm Angela, and this is me making sense of myself. So, the first question that I prepared for myself today was, when you last felt insecure, what was it like? And I know that I have had quite a bit of situations where I felt insecure, and I think the one I'm going to focus on today is one where I failed. I made a mistake. So imagine this. I'm sitting in church around all these people that, of course, I make the same assumption everybody does, that they're all perfect and do everything right. And, like there's this subconscious belief there that they don't make mistakes like I do. And they have these perfect lives, which I know isn't true, but it doesn't change my thought process. So I'm sitting there and I'm participating, and I get this text from my friend, and I just happened to be watching her cat that weekend. But I hadn't been, it was like for a few weeks, but I hadn't been there in 4 days. And I get this text, and she says, "I'm coming home." My heart stopped. I was in panic mode, and I said to my caregiver, I'm like, we need to go right now, and we need to go check on the cat, because we had given him food that probably would have lasted 2 days, but mind you, it had been 4 days since I had been back over there, and I was worried because he was in the garage, because can sometimes be coyotes or other animals that would, I don't want the cat to be eaten. Really is what it comes down to, and neither do they. So my heart is racing, I'm starting to sweat, and I go over and get this cat, and he's fine. I've never had a cat yell at me until that moment that we got there, and he literally was like, the meows were evil. It was wrong. So at this point in time, I'm actually already feeling insecure. Am I going to lose my friend because the cat wasn't taken care of? And actually, I think the insecurity probably started earlier on when I had the failure, and I just found out. So as soon as I received that text, there were these insecurities about, well, how could I even do this task anymore? I love the cat, I love the family, but these things in my mind came up, and I started thinking, oh, I could never do this. I have no value if I can't be over there to take care of the cat. All these things, like my friend's gonna hate me. Like, talk about the insecurity voice coming up and rearing its ugly head. It was there. And so I also, I'm super insecure about the relationship now, and they're going to be home that night, and they were traveling for a long time, and I thought, ooh, I better not have this conversation with her. But I'm just trying to get through this feeling of insecurity. So what I start doing is, okay, I'm going to go into my heart. I'm going to breathe. And just breathing in that moment was so hard, like finding a balanced breath. And when I say balance, that's like 4 to 6 seconds in. And I say seconds right now because I do heart rhythm meditation. But in those moments, like I was so worried and so concerned. I couldn't feel my heart beat. And because of my hands and the way they work, feeling my pulse was really difficult. So it was slow it down. And so as soon as I would get each level of breath, I would slow it down even more. I'd slow it down even more. And then eventually what I did was I imagined putting all of the insecurity, the mistake, the failure, and just wrapping it. I imagined wrapping it in a cloth and putting it in my heart and pondering on it. Now, I woke up, like 1, 2, 3 nights worrying because I knew that they had to recover from their trip, and having a conversation about a terrible mistake when everything was okay in that moment, when they hadn't slept well was I thought a bad idea. So I would actually also wake up. So I'm feeling super insecure about how I'm going to address this problem, if I'm going to have a friend when it's done. And remember, I had put the concerns into this package in my heart. So, excuse me, this is what I'm pondering. And wow, I'm sorry. But I started to realize that my friendship was built on this trust and the honesty. We talked about mistakes. We had been through so much. And even though I was feeling insecure, I was realizing that I'm going to have to take a risk. And the other thing that happened was I listened to a podcast about mistakes. And one of the things that Amy C. Edmondson said in that podcast was that people who are, in psychologically safe environments admit more mistakes because they can. And so the way that I got through it was making sure that I was breathing, putting it in my heart, and remembering that my belief about what might happen next was based on the idea that I was going to be judged and told I wasn't valuable based on the previous, like the past from when I was a kid, and the stories that I told myself about what that meant, that I made a mistake, therefore I'm not good enough, and if I'm not good enough, then I don't have value. So I had all these ideas and these thoughts, and it's so important, or it was so important to me to really have a sense of integrity about who I am. So I didn't want to let the insecurity rule me. I wanted to walk through that fear. And that is how I got through it, was just looking at, okay, what do I want? I want to know that I have integrity. How am I going to get through this? I'm going to work on my heart rhythm meditation. I'm going to imagine putting it in my heart. And I'm going to go learn about what happens and what healthy people do when they make mistakes. So that is how I got through feeling insecure. I would love to hear from you when it was a time you were confident. These videos will be located in the playlist, How to Be Confident and Not Insecure. I'm Angela, and this is me making sense of myself.